gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Hello and welcome to a political talk show here on WRMN. It's good to have you all here. Free Speech Friday. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I am the moderator, host, teacher, instructor, whatever you want to label me as here on a political talk show. That's what I do. I turn on the microphones and talk into it occasionally. I try to get it to the point where I get as many voices in here as I possibly can. But you know how it is in the summer, especially on a beautiful day like today. More beautiful days are coming up, and that will be to remind you Thursday, July 3rd, the Burlington Fireworks Celebration. That's coming up. Sponsorships are available right now, all the way down as $250 to get your name or company name listed. Make sure you get some of those big old fiery booms. Star sponsors and other sponsors as far as red, white, blue, the stripes and the stars. Different levels depending on what you can do to support the community of Burlington. All donations greatly appreciated. You can find forms all over the place of Burlington, but go ahead and call with any questions. 847-683-2283. Please contact again with any questions. 847-683-2283. To ensure all banners, that's where you're going to put your company's logo on there. To ensure all banners are ready in time for our event, we must receive your sponsorship by June 2025. I don't know what number that is. June 1st. Sorry. June 1st.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. So you got a little bit of time to get you up on the banner. What I would like to do for $250, I mean, that's you get on the banner for that one, the sponsorship banner for that one. Get like a picture of your dog. How cool would it be next to all of these different businesses and everything else? There's Sparky right there next to next to Culver's and Dairy Queen.
Yeah, but that's a bad day for my dog. He hates fireworks. He hides in the closet. Yeah, a lot of dogs don't like it. So, but
well, and then now your dog has a presence at the fireworks.
Yeah. So
you get him
he
in
doesn't
there.
hide. Mm-hmm.
We've got David Tees in here today. Let me go ahead and bring him on camera. Free Speech Friday. We're going to open up the phone lines. David Tees and I have a couple things we want to talk about. They are on both ends of the spectrum. The first one is Original Sin is a new book that's coming out by CNN's anchor Jake Tapper and Axios reporter Alex Thompson. It's set to release here in about 4 days or so, but the book delves into the mental and physical health concerns surrounding former President Joe Biden during his presidency and the re-election campaign. Pete Buttigieg, just over the last couple of days, has now started to make the circuits with a lot of different independent broadcasters and stuff like that. I guess I'm not big enough yet for him. I sent him a text message, but he said something along the lines of, how did you get this number? This isn't the Signal chat. But anyway, he's been saying that it was a mistake to have him run that early, or even have him run at all and not give over the reins. And when you got somebody like that who's been in the corner of the Democratic Party in general, regardless of who's in that driver's seat, I don't know. It shows how much they were hiding. Then the other thing that Tease and I would like to talk about is the big, beautiful budget bill that couldn't pass the budget committee, right? There was enough B's in there.
Yeah.
There's at least 4. We're trying to see how many we can get in one sentence at a time. But that's the other thing that we're going to talk about. So 847-931-1410, that's what we're opening up. The reason that it is just Mr. Tease and I is Elliot decided to hop on some different airwaves and go against us right now. Dueling airwaves. He's filling in for Patty Vasquez.
I hope he's sighing on there. I hope he gives him all the sighs in the world there.
Oh, no. And I'm not going to disparage any particular station, because we all know everybody's got their favorite flavors of politics that are out there. But I'll tell you, he's if we are maybe like the deep end, he's in the kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Over there. And I would say the same thing if he was over at 560.
Yeah.
Like, that's, if you go on your own biased side, if you're like, no, that's the bias that I have, I'm going to go on that station and have it and go. But if you get a chance, check on over and listen to Elliot over there on that side. It gives him a chance to kind of spread his wings, and we won't fact check him too much.
I think he's the only guy in radio that has a split personality. I mean, he's got to do the morning show and be all perky and happy and all, the Fox Valley area, and then he's got to go and do a Politico show and be all serious and all that stuff. So.
No, it's very true. It's hard to be able to do it. I've been doing the community hour at 9:00, and I've been having a little bit of time to make that switch to just go from, because here. This is my dojo right here. I love it. Let's talk political. Let's go. Let's drive it. Let's have a good time. For the community hour side of it, first off, it's early.
Yeah.
It's 9:00. I teach night classes. I'm not done teaching classes until 11, so it's already too early for me. But what's really been helping me is I've been getting a lot of community feedback of what they want to hear. So just like we've got Fridays with the Finest and some of the Medicare stuff, people have been sending stuff back to me and saying, okay, well, what about particular businesses? We do a lot of restaurant stuff and things like that. What about services? What kind of service businesses can we start looking at? So I've been starting to reach out with them. I've got a couple calls out to the Daily Herald to see if we can start getting a rapport with them too. So if anybody's got any suggestions of how you want the station to go, we always have the text line open, 505-926-1410, 505-926-1410. You can send a message 24 hours a day. We've got the yard sale alert, and we're going to put that together. But if you've got a service or you got somebody who needs to be highlighted in this area, ooh, man, send us over a link. We'll definitely do it.
Yeah, so in the morning, Monday mornings, they do small business little interviews. Susie does that. She had, I forgot the lady's name that was on last Monday, with insurance, talking about insurance. Very educational and stuff that I didn't know. But, yeah, that's a great show. I mean, getting to express all these local businesses and shops that are around here. There are some really hidden gems in Elgin that people don't know about that are out there.
Oh, it's very true. We are going to go take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to jump into our first conversation about Jake Tapper from CNN and Axios reporter Alex Thompson, who's set to release a book in May, in 4 days here on the 20th. Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, its cover-up, and his disastrous choice to run again. I absolutely believe in that as well, but I want to wag my finger at these two and say it would have been a lot easier if, I don't know, you had just reported it in the first place. More Apolitical Talk Show coming up after this. Available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com is the book called DUI Jury Trial, which is the true story of a truck driver in Illinois who was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. Not only was he facing a revocation of his driver's license, but also a lifetime disqualification of his CDL, which would prevent him from ever driving a semi-truck again. This book includes backstories of the truck driver, the lawyers that defended the case, and the DUI expert witness who analyzed the case and then testified at trial as to the proper protocol procedures of the field sobriety tests as well as the breathalyzer test. This nonfiction novel also includes the actual court transcript from the jury trial, a courtroom showdown in which the final verdict would determine the fate of the defendant's livelihood. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
Clutter happens, but junk doesn't have to weigh you down. At the Junk Luggers, we're your full-service junk removal and hauling pros, tackling everything from single-item pickups to major cleanouts. We handle the heavy lifting, and with our commitment to the green way, we rehome and recycle to keep your unwanted items out of landfills. So, whether you're clearing out the garage, downsizing, or saying goodbye to old furniture, we make the process eco-friendly and easy. Call 1-800-LUG-JUNK or visit junkluggers.com today. Let's save your space and the planet together.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to a political talk show here on WRMN. That's WRMN 1410 AM and WRMN1410.com. Two great places to listen to exactly what you're listening to right now, right? If you weren't listening to me, then you wouldn't be on the AM dial or the YouTube or the whatever. Like that's what I talked about in my classes sometimes with my students is like, when you're only telling people on your podcast or you're only telling people on your radio show to listen to you, you're only telling people to listen to what they're doing already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like walking up to somebody and say, hey, keep doing that. Man, you're doing it so great. So we want to give you as many different places to go to. So if you're listening on the radio, go over to the website because the website's got a different experience than the radio's got.
Yeah.
And YouTube is a whole nother experience that's over there. So we're going to keep telling you to listen to the places that you're at, but we're going to try to give you a different flavor. So maybe that you'll find whatever suits you, even at the moment. Because when I'm in the car, boom, 1410 AM kicks right over. Mm-hmm. When I'm at the house, since I've got one of those Google displays in my kitchen, boom, the YouTube pops right on. So use the formats that we've got and jump around. Pick a flavor for you. How do you listen to WRMN, Mr. Tees?
Well, I listen on the app on my phone in the mornings when I'm having breakfast, getting ready to take the kid to school, and then in my truck when I'm going from call to call. But yeah, that's the way I do watch it because it's easier for me to move around the house with it. You know, if I watch the YouTube or just have it on the app. It's mostly on the app while I'm walking around the house. My daughter Katrina told me that there's other ways you can find ways to listen to WRMN. On our way here, I did not know that. There's different stuff that you can look up and bam, type in WRMN. There's different ways you can still find this station in the app, YouTube, or on the radio.
Oh, absolutely.
She educated me.
All over the place, right? If you're looking on your favorite podcasting platform as well, you can find us over there, including a political talk show. But you can also find a podcast we put together for the Elgin Police Department. Somebody Knows Something. And that one is put together and has now gone up to the top 1% of podcasts.
That's great.
Globally. It's amazing.
It's great. And what was it, like 850,000 viewers?
Oh, it was 80,000 in 1 month.
Yeah.
I think is what they ended up with when they were peaking the most of it. So if you would like to get your message out there, you got a great idea for a podcast, send over an email, sonar@WRMN1410.com, Dean@WRMN1410.com. Pretty much pick a name that you've heard here on the station, and they've got a WRMN1410.com.
Even if it's talking about plants, that would be a good podcast. Plants.
Yeah.
You know, exotic plants or what you're going to plant in your garden. That would be
We've
a good
got
podcast.
we've got Paul's Paul Parrott Garden Club. That's on Sundays. Is a great show to listen to.
Oh, yeah. I know
as
that.
well. So I want to give a big shout out to Ralph Helm, who helped us out today. Dino was out over at the towers. He gets the broadcast first. Because he's over there right now.
He's next to the towers.
He's next to the towers, giving us a mow over there. Ralph Helm helped us out with our tractor. Let them help them out with your stuff. Ralph Helm Incorporated here in Elgin, 847-695-1616. Let them help you with your small engine repairs. Also, if you're looking to buy a new mower or trimmer, I saw a tiller that was out there. Oh my gosh, with how much I've got as garden wise to be able to just till it all up. Now I got a little bit of what did they put down before me? I think they put down mulch before me, so I might have to rake a little bit of that out just to kind of get the real big sticks out of it.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you that tiller that was on there, I would have littler rocks. It was crazy. It looked like it could just till through anything. So if you're looking at setting up your garden, if you're looking at doing some trimming that maybe you didn't get done over the over the winter, right? That thing that you saw in November and was like, yeah, I'll get it when it's hot outside. Well, it's hot outside.
Yeah.
So head on over to Home Ralph Helm Incorporated. That's ralphhelminc.com. That's over there on Foothill Road. You said you had your shop over there.
Yeah, we used to have our shop right behind them, but that's where I take my stuff to get serviced, my lawnmowers, and service and sales over there. They've been around for a long time. They're a good company to take your stuff to. Very friendly people there. Know their stuff, by the way.
Oh, yeah, they do. My goodness. They had stand-up mowers. They had riders. They had zero turns. Zero turns with a wheel, by the way. If you can't do the 2-lever system or whatever goes on, they got zero turns with a wheel.
Wow, that would be me.
Yeah, right? You need it. It's right there where Randall Road and 20 come together. You just come right down Foothill Road, and you'll find Ralph Helm Lawn Equipment Center. Check them out for there. Let's talk a little bit about this here, Mr. Tees. A deteriorating president, as far as mental and physical, right? We all started to see it, and we were mad. Like, I was mad. I was mad that they would even try to run somebody like this, because we talked about, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as like a lot of people went for like elder abuse and all of this other stuff, but there were rumblings that were already happening about the Biden camp, about every time that Vice President Harris would say anything about Biden, it was always the Biden camp that was coming back and saying, "Oh, you can't say something bad about him. Oh, he's going to be a great. You're destroying his legacy, right?" It was always about his legacy. And it's like, if you guys would have just admitted what was going on, said this is what needs to happen, let Harris be the president for a little bit, she would have been a stronger incumbent for it, and maybe you would have won. But the selfishness of this, and I think that's what they're going with this book, Original Sin. Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's putting it together. Original Sin, President Biden's decline, its cover-up, and disastrous choice to run again. Your thoughts, Mr. Teese?
Well, like you said, we all knew that we could see it, we can watch it. Confused on a stage, looking this way, or do I go this way, do that way? I mean, they were talking about parts of this book going to be coming out where there were like a month where they didn't even see Joe Biden, and then they said there were some good days and some bad days. I think, like you said, if they would have done this, I think before the primaries, it'll let everybody have a chance to take a shot at the presidency on the Democratic side. Things might have been different. I mean, there might have been a stronger candidate. Harris would have been in there, but she didn't have a primary. So, yeah, you're right. If they would have said, she's the president, he can't do this anymore, that's fine. But what bothered me the most about this whole thing, and I'm sure it's got to bother you, who is running our country? Because it wasn't Joe Biden.
It's true. There's a lot of people that thought about that even for Reagan, where they thought Nancy was running the show at that point. And even then, you go back even further. There are presidents and first ladies and all kinds of other stuff that's going on. Polio or anything else that they might have gone. I think one was had a concussion for a little bit. I mean, that's why we have the 25th Amendment. And we have, in case the president can't do something, we've got a vice president to be able to do it. And I think the Democrats didn't really take that to heart when they put Harris in there to begin with. If they would have taken her seriously from the get-go, I think it would have been an easier transition. But I think what they kept doing is they kept putting her on the back burner. And she wasn't really getting the respect that she deserved as vice president. Now, whether it was because she was Joe Biden's vice president or a woman or whatever things that you want to do, she didn't seem to get the same recognition, not just from the Republicans, but the Democrats. The Democrats didn't set her up for success.
No.
They were going to do the switcheroo. They were going to have Biden run all the way through so he could be a two-time Super Bowl champion or whatever you wanted to do it, the two-time champ for it. And they never gave Harris enough runway to get away from him and be her own president. So it just made her seem like she was just another one of those backdoor, keep her away from the real action type of thing.
Well, if that's true, but you got to remember one thing. When she went out and spoke at functions and all that stuff, there was a lot of word salads. There's a lot of stuff where you had to look at her and go, what did she just say?
That's very true.
I mean, so it just seems like we had a little bit of her that I didn't think she could talk good. I didn't think she made it strong. She should have been a stronger opponent. She should have knew how to talk instead of talking about the bus or into laughing and all that stuff. But to Joe, they didn't give her any respect whatsoever. She was thrown into the back. You go sit back there at the back of the bus, and we'll drive the bus, and we'll let you know when it's your stop to get off the bus.
Biden's running, right? We're going to tell you what's going to happen. Hey, Brennan, it's good to see you. Hey, he said he went to the law enforcement at the Dunkin' Donuts with cop on a rooftop, the Dunkin' Donuts in South Elgin.
Yes.
That looked like a fun time that's there. Hey, it is still Police Appreciation Week as well. So make sure you thank a officer and shake their hand and give them the big old thumbs up or whatever you want to do. But make sure that you thank an officer in uniform or not. And we thank all officers because we want to make sure that you're remembered. Remember to come back at the bottom of the hour. I've got more to talk about this Original Sin stuff out there. We'll talk about budget and everything else down the line. I've got Mr. Teese here. We're going to take a more Republican-based day today.
We're switching over to the Republicans.
And let's just beat up on the old D's for a little bit.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan. Brought to you by Wendy's. Carpentersville will invest $2 million to acquire the former Kohl's property at Spring Hill Mall, aiming to secure control over future redevelopment. The village board approved the purchase this week. Village President John Skillman emphasized the importance of keeping the site within Carpentersville's oversight. The school district U46 Planetarium in Elgin is set to host 2 public presentations on May 21st, focusing on the Elgin National Watch Company, its historic observatory, and its ties to the planetarium. Programs begin at 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. with self-guided tours of the building available. 2 people are recovering after an early morning fire at the Rivers Landing Apartments in Elgin left a dozen units uninhabitable. Crews arrived at 6:30 a.m. on Wednesday to find flames spreading through the building near Times Square Road. 6 residents were rescued by ladder and 2 were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's Touchless Car Wash has 2 convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. Now for your free car wash, and see why Britain's Touchless Car Wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. A wind advisory and gusty winds advisory are in effect for the listening area until midnight tonight. Currently, it is 83 degrees with clear skies. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m., mostly cloudy with a low around 52. Gusts up to 45 miles per hour are expected. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-source single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Welcome back to WRMN. That's WRMN 1410 AM and WRMN1410.com. We're simulcast live on both of those places, including TuneIn. That's a great app to listen to as well. App and also website. If you're a radio head like me and you really like to listen to talk radio or music radio or all kinds of different stations around the world, actually, not just individual ones here in the United States, also not just terrestrial radio stations. If you're looking for some digital stations that are out there that don't have a stick, that's the place to go to listen to them. Tune in. You can go to tunein.com to download the app or find it on your favorite store. You just heard about that, didn't you, Mr. Tees?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Do you think the aliens are listening to us?
Oh, yes,
and they
absolutely.
probably get us tuned in, bouncing off the satellites out there.
So here's the thing, just to elaborate on your question there. The way that radio waves and everything else travel, that's what we're hearing in space. When we send our satellites or we point the dishes out there in the world and we listen to all this static, that's essentially just the universe coming out. So when we broadcast on the tower, it goes out into space.
Yeah.
So we've been broadcasting for 75 years. So 75 light years from here is where the very first broadcast of WRMN lives. And it's still traveling.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going. So if the aliens could figure out how to listen, they could definitely tune in.
Yeah. Probably closer to Jupiter by now.
Hopefully, well, a little further.
Yeah, a little further, yeah.
A little further. It takes, just as reference, it takes just under 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to Earth.
Boy, he's knowledgeable. He's very
That's about it. Oh, thank you. I read in a book. Speaking about a book, a forthcoming book entitled Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, Its Disastrous Choice to Run Again, by CNN anchor Jake Tapper and Axios reporter Alex Thompson, is set to be released on May 20th. The book delves into the mental and physical health concerns surrounding former President Joe Biden during his presidency and re-election campaign, alleging a concerted effort by his inner circle to conceal his decline from the public. And it was definitely Axios that was breaking the stories of Dr. First Lady Jill Biden. First Lady Dr. Jill... Dr. Biden. Dr. Biden was having a lot of sit-downs with Harris at the time, Vice President Harris, if we're going to give everybody their titles. Vice President Harris. And what was ending up happening was because, you know, the whole I'm the last person in the room, like that kind of thing. Yeah. No. Dr. Jill was the last person in the room. And you're the second to last person before she kicked you out, is what, to paraphrase the Axios report for it. And remember when she was on The View and she says, I'm nothing like Joe Biden, like I'm nothing, like nothing, I don't want to be a part of it or whatever. And when she came back from that, Axios reported that she was berated for talking like that. What do you think about that type of side, especially if maybe it comes down the same way with J.D. Vance at this too? Instead of handing over the reins for J.D. Vance, is this kind of a warning for the administration to say, look, maybe we hand it over a little bit earlier?
Yeah, one thing we didn't know what was going behind closed doors with Harris, Jill, and Joe.
There was no proof of it. Everybody was, whatever.
But that being said, I mean, when she said that on The View, they got mad. She was upset that she should be getting her chance to prove that she could do the job. Maybe sit in on those meetings instead of having Jill Biden sitting in the conference rooms with all your staff there, showing that she can do it. Instead, they, once again, like you said, pushed her off to the side.
Because he was running. Yeah. That's what it really was the election. If he would have turned around and said, nope, not the election, we're going to put all of our focus on Harris, do you think the election would have turned different? If he did it as soon as Trump announced, as soon as President Trump announced and said, I'm going, because he jumped in early. He jumped in 18 months, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a perfect time for Biden to turn around and say, okay, fine. You've got a separate opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. But well, it was like, I don't think it was Joe's decision. He didn't know what was going on. I mean, that was one of the things about it. He didn't know what was going on. Everybody else knew what was going on. And like you said, Trump, he was on the road way ahead of time. But back to your question, I don't think the outcome would have been different no matter who they had, because there was Joe wasn't running the country, and there was a lot of crazy stuff going on, and we seen a lot. We saw a lot of it.
The Secretary of Defense went on a medical leave that nobody knew about. Like, there was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on.
Who was in charge of our nuclear codes? I mean, the president's supposed to have the nuclear codes.
No, I don't think he was at the point where he just couldn't handle everything. Like, I think at the point where he was at, he was still playing vice president. Honestly, I think President Biden played vice president the entire time he's been even close to the White House.
Yeah.
Because he knew how to play the role of even if you look at you want to look at his legacy or the 40, 50 years of being in, even when he was a part of Congress, he still tried to not make so many waves to the point where he got into an uproar and everybody was protesting him or whatever. He knew he knew where his bread was buttered, right? Honestly. And he made a career out of it. He was able to retire with a career. So I don't think he was necessarily like sharp in the fact of like, I've got the nuclear codes. I know exactly where they are at all times. In fact, I've got them all memorized and what. No president's got that.
No.
But you've got to be able to know the players and the way that things get done, and not to kind of bring it back over to this administration's side. It seems like this administration's side doesn't, it's almost the same kind of gut feeling of running the country.
Right.
Running the country from your gut instead of running it through the actual levers of whatever. And whether that's vibrato or whether that is incompetence and being, the mental decline or whatever it is. But either way, it's still people that don't understand how stuff works. Is the presidency becoming just a figurehead at this point?
Well, it is a figurehead to begin with, because Trump, you got to remember, Trump is doing his tour with the Saudis, and he's out there making deals, but he has a staff, just like a business does. They have their VPs and their executive board and their managers in this department and advertising. Everybody meets once a week. They go over budget, they go over this, and that's what the president's has. He has a staff, the Secretary of Defense, agriculture, on and on and on. And they do all the reporting. He's the guy out there, they go out there and cut ribbons and, do meet and greets.
Will we ever see somebody on staff that is a whistleblower like that for any presidency?
Everybody,
or do you think everybody, if you make it to staff level, there's no way that you turn on it?
They don't want to be crucified. If you be a whistleblower, you're done. I mean, they're going to make sure you never get another job.
So then what's these two? So sure, fine.
Whistleblowers come after the president leaves.
Yeah, books,
right? Okay.
Right, for books. So 200 individuals were interviewed, including White House staffers, Democratic officials, and political strategists. The authors argue that Biden's decision to seek re-election at 81 was a pivotal mistake, compounded by efforts to hide his declining health, ultimately leading to the Democrat Party's defeat in the 2024 election. Spectrum News, NPR, Axios, New York Magazine, all kinds of people are writing about it. But these two people that are writing this are reporters. Yeah. One is an anchor, the other is a full-on reporter for Axios, as in they write the stories specifically for this. This is my issue with it. We are getting a terrible lag time right now with information because of jerseys, because of people picking teams. Jake Tapper in Axios and CNN both lean left. I think Axios is full on left. CNN leans left. And there's a distinction on it. We can go into Ad Fontes Media or any of the other grading systems that are out there. But either way, they're both left. So both of them have essentially skin in the game to not report about this. Now that everything's come out, and even then, this stuff comes out because they're writing a book, because they did the interviews. Hello? Are you not an anchor and a reporter? Interviews and get everything out? It's the same thing that we saw after the Trump presidency, the first one. And it's the same thing we saw after the January 6th committee. And it's the same thing we saw after Hillary's emails. And it's the same thing we saw about Russiagate. And it's the same. Give us the dang information as the stuff is happening, please.
Yes, exactly. And CNN now all of a sudden is starting to say, yeah, Joe wasn't. He wasn't running the country. And now they come out after the fact. I mean, if people would have known this, I'm sure the 25th Amendment would have been really.
And that's my issue with it, is we're getting the information now when they had it then. And that's what really makes me mad. Is you know how long it takes to write a book? The authors that I talk to, they say it's like birthing a baby. They say you want to get a book out there in the world, my goodness, it's going to take a long time. You got to research, you got to edit, you got to do all of this. So that means they knew what was going on when it was going on. And this stuff right here, these books that come out are the ones that make us all play these. Both sides do it. Media's bias. This right here is a perfect example of those.
You know, we started seeing, my personal opinion is, I think when Joe won the presidency, it was about after a year of him being the president when we started seeing the decline.
Yep.
We started seeing stuff that fast happening.
That's when he said, on the campaign trail, he said, I will almost immediately start training Harris for the next position to take over. And that would have been a perfect time for them to do it. But they got a taste of the throne.
And like you see J.D. Vance is with Trump a lot in meetings. You didn't see Harris in any, she just showed up to just functions.
They didn't put her there.
She just showed up to a couple places, parades, or
they treated her like a normal VP that was out there.
She showed up to Memorial Day, put flowers out there, and the unknown soldier tomb and all that stuff, where they always put flowers out there. But that's the only time you saw her when there was some type of event going on. Other than that, she wasn't standing next to him at press conferences or committee meetings going on inside of the Oval Office, community reports, what's going on.
Yeah, people hopping on the honkers log over there. Good to see you over here driving down Douglas. We've got a caller, Mr. Tees. Let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines. 847-931-1410, 847-931-1410. Let me check to make sure that we're also not getting them text lines, too. 505-926-1410. That's the place to go. Hello, caller.
Yes, sir. Dennis, it's the other Dennis, Trucker Dennis.
Hey, Trucker Dennis.
Trucker Dennis, what's up?
Why don't you talk to me a little bit about this book here, man?
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I don't read much anymore, but I want to ask a question here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put this out there. When Biden started getting near the end of his first term, and Trump had thrown his hat in the ring and all of that, really, this is the best two candidates that this country had to offer at that time? Seriously? And then the alternatives, too, like Harris or J.D. Vance or any of the governors that wanted to step up. What is wrong with party leadership on both sides here? Are they blind or what?
Well, the thing is they've made it a machine, Dennis. You know how logistics works, right? You build the roads and then you just run the roads, right? There's not much change, maybe the same roads over and over and over again.
There's got to be, but something's got to be going on. This has all got to stop now.
Of course, here's the issue. Here's the system. What they've done is they've made careers out of something that should only be term limit appropriate.
Exactly.
Even then, 2 or 3 term limits and knock it out and go away. But they've made it to the point where people can spend decades in there, not just because of the way that they write the gerrymandering or anything else for it, but because the money goes that direction. It takes money to run. And what they do is they give the money only to the people that are in the farming system. It works the same way.
Well, that's like, the Supreme Court didn't help us either with that,
No, Citizens United and a few others.
The lobby money is now legal. The lobby money is now legal because it's protected by First Amendment rights. What is that?
Yeah, well,
how does that even happen? you know what? I think if you're a candidate, you need to declare your lobby.
Yeah.
You know what? I can make a much better informed decision if I know who your lobby is.
It's true. Did you also hear Speaker Johnson, I think it was just yesterday, was defending how they should be allowed to use stocks and buy stocks and trade stocks, because if you don't let them trade stocks, then you might deter people from wanting to be in this position. And he said, sacrifice that they've got for this. As far as I've seen, I haven't seen nobody up there sacrifice nothing other than looking like a clown when they look like clowns.
I think a lot of these guys have really forgotten where they came from.
I'll give you that one, Dennis, all day.
Yeah.
They're so far removed from what the real general public is, the working man, and all. You know what? All they worry about is that 1 or 2%. That's the cream of the crop. That's feeding them all the money. And,
Yeah.
and this all needs to change. You know what else needs to change? Like, not just term limits.
What's that?
If you want to be president at that late age, you know what? 80 is not the age. I'm sorry. We need to cut it off at 70. You want to run at 68? That's fine. You can only run one term if you get elected. You can't run at 69.
Yep.
I'm sorry. 70's the cutoff. You're done. You're out.
TD, I don't like hard numbers, so I deal with like percentages and measurements and things like that. So here's what I propose for you. You're not allowed to run for anything if you are above life expectancy.
Well, here we go. Right. All right. So these two guys
you're not
running here.
If statistically you're not, if statistically you're not supposed to be here, then you shouldn't be running for nothing.
Well, yeah. Also,
I think the stress of the office is too much for somebody at 80 years old.
Yeah.
I think when Mr. Trump leaves office, his health is seriously going to decline if it doesn't do it before the end of his last year.
I think we're going to see the same thing that we saw with Biden, but we're just going to see a different party do it.
You know, it seems like anybody who runs for president after they're done with their terms, they really decline. I mean, that job, that's a 24/7 job.
I think the biggest issue too with that job is it takes so long to get qualified to do that job. The parties are turning around and saying, if you don't got 30 years of working in wherever, then we're not even going to look at you. That's why Trump was even put in there. Yeah, he's an outsider, but he's an outsider that's been looking into the window for a bit.
Right. Well, he knows a lot of people, a lot of influential people. And anyway, did you get a Poppy yesterday? Sorry, I left.
I did. Oh my goodness! Thank you for sending one of those over. Hey, where are you guys going to be? I heard Commander Smith was around.
Yeah, he was around this morning and stuff like that, just like I was yesterday and stuff. And I was at the Blaine's. Tomorrow will be the last day. I'm assuming somebody's going to be out at Blaine's. I don't know what time. I couldn't tell you. The schedule was a little sketchy. There's about 8 different places that we're all over Elgin. So if you see one of those buckets, tell them you already got your Poppy and just throw a couple bucks in the bucket.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And then Mr. Tease, I saw you yesterday, and I appreciate your donation, sir. Thank you very much.
I chased you down. I had to find out. I came down to the studios. You were gone, and then Susie made a comment that you were at Blaine Farm and Fleet, so I took off over there.
It's like a fun Where's Waldo game.
We had a nice conversation, Mr. Tease.
Yes, we did.
We really did.
Yeah, you guys are working on another project, right, where you guys are meeting politically minded people at some of the restaurants and venues around here. When's your next meeting?
It will be every second Saturday of the month, and we're so far talking about possibly the Village Square in South Elgin or Emily's Mexican Grill in Elgin on McLean Boulevard. Those are the 2 top locations we're looking at right now.
That'd be great. And it's for anybody who is not necessarily party affiliate.
Right.
This is just a group of people that are putting together a conversation.
Yeah.
Meet other people who are just as concerned about democracy and the republic and the Constitution and local issues. It is more of a meet and greet of kind of like a mixer of
exactly. Yeah, we did it at the American Legion last Saturday.
The only thing is, with all of this, you know what? It's all nice. It's all well and good, but somewhere along the line, we're going to have, the people of the United States are going to have to affect a change.
Yes, sir.
Effect the change, because government is out of our reach now.
Well, I say the same thing all the time, Dennis, is I wasn't there for oath-breaking day in the Navy. I don't know if you were when you got out of the service, if they were handing out the oath-breaking, but I made an oath to the Constitution. And I wasn't there for the class.
So did our elected officials.
Yeah, but you know what? It's somewhere along the line, these guys are getting too far removed from us and stuff like that, and we don't have the control. Oh yeah, it's like it's like a popularity contest, like for rock stars when everybody goes to these rallies, and I don't think anybody's listening to the message anymore.
No, well that's why we got to split the party, brother. Split it.
Yeah,
it's all
Crack
about
it up.
money.
It's Crack
both
up.
of them, not just the Republican, but the Democrats,
Oh,
both sides
yeah.
of the aisle are guilty of this thing. Is all hell, and I just can't. I'm getting a little tired of it.
Dennis, I'm going for 4 parties in 2040. That's my goal.
Wow.
I want 4 parties in 2040. I'll do whatever I can to put a wedge in as many parties as I can. But you know what I'm doing is I'm only putting a wedge in there by asking the constitutional questions. I mean, honestly, that's what it is. We're getting a lot of people who are jumping to each extreme and forgetting that we live in a republic with rule of law.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And as long as you
agree with that.
You put that together, look, I'll vote for you, brother. Anybody who keeps their oath to the Constitution, done. Game over, because I know what you've done. It's that type of a thing that's out there. Maybe us veterans just need to take over again.
Something, I don't know, but we gotta, we need to affect the change, because like I say, as far as I'm concerned, government's out of control and it's out of our hands and stuff like that. And we don't seem to make that much of it. If nobody came out and voted, what would happen?
Yeah. Well, we only get like 30%, man. So we got to get more people out there, more people riled up. Trust me, it's coming. It's coming.
Anyway, I appreciate the time, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, Trucker Dennis. It's good talking with you.
Mr. Tees, it's always nice to talk to you, sir.
Yes, it is always wonderful to talk to you.
Yep. No, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too old with this stuff or something like that. I'm 68, retired. I'm worried about Social Security. I'm worried about Medicare. I want this stuff to be here for my kids, my grandkids. I want it to be here. It's a good system. It just needs to be tweaked. It
Absolutely.
Really
yeah, and then tell us that it's being tweaked too. Don't tell us you're not changing something and then do a full-on $1 trillion removal of money. Tell us what's happening. We're big boys and girls. You don't need to keep lying to us.
Settle down. It'll all be good. It'll all be good.
As far as I'm concerned, Social Security, just take the cap off. Just do just $10,000 a year. Pushing it up, and it's so out of reach. It's not even funny. There's billionaires out there. There's people that make $4 billion, $5 billion, $30 billion a year, the CEOs and stuff like that. You need to start taxing that money all year long.
Yes, sir.
For income tax, and then Social Security, no cap.
That's it. Thanks, Trucker Dennis. Really appreciate it. Check out the American Legion, Post 57. They are selling poppies. Get your Memorial Day style ready. And support a local program.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. That's 800-257-3148.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 6 o'clock.
With your 105.7 WDNY News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Wendy's. United Way of Greater Rochester in the Finger Lakes marked a milestone with its 31st annual Day of Caring. The event saw record participation with over 6,400 volunteers from 200 organizations joining forces across 7 counties. A Farmington man faces aggravated animal cruelty charges after a puppy died from blunt force trauma. Deputies responded when James Kinney claimed his neighbor had poisoned his 2.5-month-old collie mixed goose. The Ontario County Sheriff's Office, working with Humane Society, discovered no signs of poisoning. Instead, a veterinary examination at Cornell University revealed fatal injuries consistent with abuse. A Saguenay man facing serious charges after a fatal incident inside Groveland Correctional Facility. 53-year-old Gabriel Jasmine has been indicted by the Livingston County District Attorney's Office. Officials allege that Jasmine used a deadly weapon to murder 36-year-old Rashawn Bell and injure a second man. With your 105.7 WDNY News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
From the pages of the Elgin newspapers of 100 years ago today, these are the headlines brought to you by the Elgin History Museum.
I'm Nick Freeman, and here's what was happening in our fair city 100 years ago. Exhibitions of stunt flying will be given free to the general public by Lieutenant Hart Smith, a member of the USA Flying Corps during the World War, at the Crystal Brook Stock Farm, located 1 mile east of Lord's Park on the Chicago Street Road. 2 airplanes will be operated, one piloted by Lieutenant Smith and the other by Roy Ahern, who, at 19, is the youngest flyer in the United States. Miss Frida Cook will thrill her audiences by walking on the wings of the plane and hanging on the edge by her toes. And in motion picture news, Zowie, the big smash, comes to the Rialto tomorrow. The most notable screen attraction of the year and a syncopated stage prologue, all on one joyous jazz-jammed bargain bill. On the screen, more radiant than ever, in the greatest role of her career, Colleen Moore stars in Sally, a gorgeous screen version of Ziegfeld's musical comedy sensation, with Colleen as the Allie Gammon, who became the dancing sensation of 2 continents. Also, live on our stage, a merry musical prologue featuring Egbert Van Alstine in person.
Elgin 100 Years Ago is a presentation of the Elgin History Museum. Be sure to visit the museum located at 360 Park Street in Elgin, open Wednesday through Saturdays 11 to 4. You may also listen to Elgin 100 Years Ago at www.elginhistory.com.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. A wind advisory and gusty winds advisory are in effect for the listening area until midnight tonight. Currently, it is 83 degrees with clear skies. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m., mostly cloudy with a low around 52. Gusts up to 45 miles per hour are expected. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe? No-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m.? Big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas? The ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk. Real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-source single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous, right? But guess what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
The Supplemental Security Income Program provides monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low, and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability, or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI to start to apply. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Ladies and gentlemen, step on inside. It's Big Top Sports, your thrilling ride. From the Chicagoland to lands afar. With Derek Geyer, your sports czar. The game's the place from field to rink. Hot debates, fast takes, no time to blink. The Windy City roar, the fans ignite. Your circus of sports under radio light. Big Time Sports, feel the roar. Where the wild games come to score. Guiding the sports band from the heart of Chicagoland.
And welcome into Big Top Sports. I'm Derek Geyer. You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN. River Media Network Sports. I mean, it's not actually River Media Network Sports, but I'm going to say it is because that's what I am covering right now. Sports here on WRMN. And as you were listening to a political talk show with Sonar Dennis Green leading me in on this Friday, May 16th, I hope everyone out there is doing fine with the temperatures being what they are, with the weather being what it was. Man, talk about, okay, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. With the weather being what it was when I was leaving the station last night, and then viewing the aftermath of going through the neighborhoods in Chicago with all the downed trees, all of the, would you call it construction work? Okay, I'm just going to say construction workers or tree trimmers or tree removal experts, that were out there. Man, that was a lot of interesting stuff, because as I was driving to the bar last night, yes, I might have had one or two libations, but driving, towards the city, which would make that east on 90 last night. Man, talk about a lightning show of all lightning shows. It was just absolutely amazing. And I had to be extra careful with that, just for the simple fact that anytime you're driving on the expressways in Illinois, Chicago, wherever, you need to be very, very on guard Let's just say that. But yeah, the Lightning show was definitely going on. And even if I'm not mistaken, Beyonce was playing down at Soldier Field last night. And it had a 3-hour plus weather delay. Soldier Field was absolutely packed. Was able to see like a live tweet or a YouTube live or, I don't know. But speaking of YouTube live, if you want to see my pretty face, pun intended, tune into youtube.com/@WRMN radio. Or if you even want to be a part of the show, text in 505-926-1410. Or if you want to actually get on these very airwaves, call 847-931-1410. And you could also tune in live on the WRMN app, smart speaker, wherever. Yeah. But yeah, so it was probably about, what was it, like 9:30, 10 o'clock or so, the Beyonce concert was finally starting, just for the simple fact that there was the severe weather going through the Chicagoland area, downtown, the lightning storm that I'm sure was pretty interesting to say the least. I did not experience any rain myself, but I know that there was a lot of rain that did go through the area. I must have missed it by the time that I did make it home. But anyway, you're not tuned in for any of that stuff, are you? You're tuned in to listen to me talk sports, or at least I hope you're tuned in to listen to me talk sports. And, well, we had the NBA Finals. That's right. NBA Finals going on last night. And sorry to say, OKC. I mean, if there's any OKC fans out there, I know that there's one. He's a friend of the show. He's probably pooping in his pants right now. Worried that the Nuggets are going to take his team out. But yeah, that was a game, and it was. So let's see. Well, where do we have here? We had the final of that game, and the series is now tied. So oh my goodness, the Denver Nuggets beat OKC 119-107. SGA, that's Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your middle or your last name hyphenated there. Had 28.8. Well, he's been averaging 28.8 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and then 7 assists per game. And on the other end of that is Nikola Jokic, averaging 29.8 points per game, 14.7 rebounds per game, and then averaging 5.7 assists. So they're having a nice series, or nice playoff, I should say. Let's see. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Come on, help me out here. The big story before the game was that Murray of the Nuggets was dealing with some flu-like issues, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be playing or not in that game. And he actually did. So he ended up putting in 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists last night. He also played a game high for the Nuggets at 42 minutes. Now, on the flip side, Jalen Williams' inconsistency continues for OKC. He's not doing if he does his job, OKC is probably moving on to the next round of the playoffs. But with that being said, excuse me, had to hit the cough button there. Full transparency. But yeah, so it looks like, I know, very, very, very good radio when I'm doing that. But anyway, you're getting on the other side. So that was the Western Conference, the Western Conference semifinals. On the flip side, you've got the Knicks and Celtics going off tonight, 7 p.m. on ESPN. New York Knicks lead that series 3-2. I'm going to hazard a guess and say that the Knicks close out the series tonight. Just a guess. Nothing more, nothing less. But, yeah, it is what it is. I will be watching at a watering hole after I get done here. Granted, the game will be, halfway through, but that's neither here nor there. You are currently listening to Big Top Sports, AM 1410, WRMN.
Tune in to Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
You'll have sports thoughts from the center ring of Chicagoland and to the outer rings from across the nation.
Weather from Chicago Cubs,
White Sox,
Bulls,
Bears,
Blackhawks,
Stars,
Fire,
Boomers,
whatever the national story is of the day. Geyer and his sports czar takes will either have you nodding in agreement,
yelling at the radio.
Shop smarter and greener with Remix Market. We specialize in high-quality, gently used furniture, home decor, and unique treasures. Perfect for giving your space a fresh look without hurting your wallet or the planet. As part of the Junk Luggers family, we're on a mission to keep items out of landfills by rehoming them to loving homes like yours. Whether you're decorating, downsizing, or hunting for that perfect one-of-a-kind piece, Remix Market is your sustainable shopping destination. Visit us online at remixmarket.com and start shopping sustainably today.
Tune in to Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
You'll have sports thoughts from the center ring of Chicagoland.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Chicago defense attorney Mark Schieblo has co-authored the book titled DUI Jury Trial, which is a true story of a DUI case that he defended. The accused was an Illinois truck driver arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. This book contains facts about the case from the date of the arrest up to the jury's verdict, and this nonfiction novel also includes the transcripts from the jury trial itself. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
Tune in to Big Top Sports with Derek Geyer every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
You'll have sports thoughts from the center ring of Chicagoland and to the outer rings from across the nation.
Weather from Chicago Cubs,
White Sox,
Bulls,
Bears,
Blackhawks,
Stars,
Fire,
Boomers,
whatever the national story is of the day.
Yeah, whatever the national story is of the day. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but, you hit the button, you expect commercials to play, the commercials don't play. I don't know. I hit the other buttons, the commercials, whatever. Welcome to the circus. Welcome to Big Top Sports, where things inevitably go wrong. This is why I do this. This is why I do a sports show. This is why it's called Big Top Sports. Anything can happen. Anything could happen in the arena of sports. Anything could happen in life. We all know that. This is a distraction. You think that you're having a hard time at work? Well, it is also translated into doing this. And I am here for it. It's funny. I'm laughing. I'm mugging the camera. Well, for those of you that are not on youtube.com/@WRMN radio, I mean, you cannot see me going hands up to the camera and laughing and smiling and joking around like, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, it's clearly my circus. I'm going to have to take account for the clowns that are in my head and running the show. So there's that. Okay, so we got through NBA playoffs. Going to go through a little bit of the NHL 2025 playoffs. And so we've already got in the Western Conference Finals, we've got the Edmonton Oilers. Sweet. Still waiting for Game 6 between Winnipeg and Dallas on Saturday at 7 o'clock Central Time. Whoa, what, huh?
Tune in to Big Top Sports.
I didn't
with
touch
Derek
anything.
Geyer, every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
He'll have.
I'm just going to say the gremlins in the machine are working overtime, and yeah. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, oh my goodness. Excuse me, I've been battling a cold for like the last 2 weeks. I'm on the remnants, but I still got oh, sign me up for a straitjacket. Oh, as long as we have the straitjacket that says AM 1410, WRMN on it, Big Top Sports, I'll be more than happy to wear it. I mean, oh, sign me up for the loony bin. Sign me up for this circus. Oh, this is awesome. Excuse me, I got to take a sip of water. Oh, my goodness. I think I might have actually just broken myself. Where was I? Oh, yeah, playoff hockey. So, the Carolina Hurricanes defeated Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals, or actually the Capitals, but, you know, that's whatever. Oh. Yeah. So, the Carolina Hurricanes are in the Eastern Conference Finals. They are waiting for, wait for it, I'm going to give another prediction, which, as I said before, does not mean jack, but I do believe that the Florida Panthers are going to close out the Toronto Maple Leafs. When? Tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Oh, what else is going on in sports? Oh, there might have been that thing called the Crosstown Classic today. I don't really know what they're, calling it these days, but the Chicago White Sox heard on these very airwaves, 1410 a.m. earlier today, were defeated by the Chicago Cubs 13-3. And if there was ever going to be a bright spot for the Chicago White Sox, no, it wasn't the defense. It was certainly not the defense today for the Chicago White Sox, who gave up 2 errors and allowed basically 4 unearned runs, or maybe it was 5 unearned runs in the second. It's neither here nor there. It wasn't. That's not the bright spot, because their fielding wasn't very good. However, they did have 11 hits in the game. 2 of those hits
was by Miguel Vargas, who basically accounted for all three of the White Sox runs today, knocking in all three of the runs with a pair of homers today. One solo and one with a runner on base. So, I mean, there's that. He hit the 2-run shot in the first inning, came up in the third, hit another one, and that was all of the run production for your Chicago White Sox. And also, at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to have Mr. Nick Stevenson, man on the street, for the Chicago White Sox and Cubs game. He'll be coming up in approximately 9 to 10 minutes. But the Chicago Cubs took care of business in that second inning, scoring 6 runs. The reason why I say taking care of business is because when you are a team like the Chicago White Sox and you don't play good, sound, fundamental baseball with in my opinion, a superior team like the Chicago Cubs, and you open up the door and you give them more outs in an inning, they are going to walk right on through. Congratulations to Belisarios. He's got his first ever RBI in Major League Baseball after he was safe on a fielder's choice and a catcher's error by the Chicago White Sox, Thias. And on a full count, ooh-wee. PCA absolutely demolished one. Cubs weren't done there. You got Suzuki in on the action, doubled to center, and Tucker scored on that. So that was 6-2. But also part of the big story for the Chicago Cubs, PCA in the leadoff spot. 6 steaks. Man, he's going to be eating good tonight. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Oh, boy. Circus is definitely in town with this show today. Yeah, PCA is eating good in the neighborhood. Why do I feel like that's a tagline for a commercial? It probably is. Yeah, but anyway, PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong, 6 ribbies on the day to go along with not 1, but 2. I think he hit 2 home runs. Whatever. He got 6 RBIs. Good day for them. Good day for the Cubs. Good day for Cade Horton. Would have been a good day for Shane Smith, but he gives up 6 runs. Only one of them earned. He struck out 5. He pitched 5 innings. So that was good. Let's see. Cade Horton for the Chicago Cubs. He receives the win. He pitched 5 innings, struck out 2. And like I said, all of his 3 runs given up to Miggy Vargas on those two homers, those 2 jacks that he gave up. But he pitched well, didn't let those homers get into his head. So that went well. Let's see. Oh, looks like the Cubs actually did get charged with an error. There was a Nico Horner got charged with an error on what looked like it was an obstruction play. But regardless, one way or the other, Cubs took care of business. We will have Nick Stevenson on in a few minutes. go over the vibe of what it was like at Wrigley Field. And yeah, just go over it, because I've only ever been to one Crosstown Classic, and that was back in, I want to say, about 2002 at the former rate. I have no idea what it was at that point. But you are currently listening to Big Top Sports, WRMN 1410 AM. I'm Derek. Please stay tuned.
With your 105.7 WDNY Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Wendy's. United Way of Greater Rochester and the Finger Lakes marked a milestone with its 31st annual Day of Caring. The event saw record participation with over 6,400 volunteers from 200 organizations joining forces across 7 counties. A Farmington man faces aggravated animal cruelty charges after a puppy died from blunt force trauma. Deputies responded when James Kinney claimed his neighbor had poisoned his 2.5-month-old collie mix Goose. The Ontario County Sheriff's Office, working with Humane Society, discovered no signs of poisoning. Instead, a veterinary examination at Cornell University revealed fatal injuries consistent with abuse. A Saguenay man facing serious charges after a fatal incident inside Groveland Correctional Facility. 53-year-old Gabriel Jasmine has been indicted by the Livingston County District Attorney's Office. Officials allege that Jasmine used a deadly weapon to murder 36-year-old Rashawn Bell and injure a second man. With your 105.7 WDNY Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free, for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. A wind advisory is in effect for the listening area until midnight tonight. Currently, it is 82 degrees and partly cloudy. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a low around 52. Winds could gust up to 45 miles per hour. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Ladies and gentlemen, step on inside. It's Big Top Sports, your thrilling ride. Big Top Sports, feel the roar, where the wild games come to score.
Okay. I'm just going to cut that off right there because we've already heard it like 3 or 4 times in the previous segments, and I have absolutely no idea what the ghost in the machine is doing at this particular moment in time. But, we are talking about the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox. Today's game at Wrigley Field. In attendance were 40,171 fans to take down. That's what I meant to say. To take in the Chicago White Sox play the Chicago Cubs. And calling in right now, the man on the street, the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Stevenson of Life's a Pitch. How you doing, Nick?
What up, Derek? What up, Big Top Sports? I'm so glad I can get in here and get a little word in about this White Sox-Cubs crosstown rivalry, the Subway Series, as it were.
Yeah, liked it so much yesterday, decided, I jumped at the chance to have you back on just for the simple fact that you said that you would be going there for this weekend. And, okay, so 40,000 plus today at Wrigley Field. What was the atmosphere like for, I'll go with the Chicago White Sox fan because I seen on your post, or maybe it was just the text to me, you were all in White Sox gear. So what was it like from the White Sox perspective?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you the Big Top Sports Life's a Pitch vibe update from the live area. So I'll tell you what, the full 41,000 people, you could tell that it was a full crowd out there. It was bumping in Wrigleyville today. It was really nice, and like I said, I was wearing the all green White Sox hoodie with the green Southside Irish hat, right?
Yep.
So people could tell I was going with the White Sox look. So the White Sox fans were loving it, man. They were having a great time. They were not, even though the team doesn't have the record to back that kind of talk up, they were out there talking and jiving and having a good old time. And the spirits were flowing. The greenery was burning. You know how it's legal in Illinois, and everything was going good on the north side of Chicago today.
Hey, now
final score if you're a White Sox fan. But of course, the White Sox were nice, and they gave everybody a 2-run first inning. So we had a little bit of some action there. We watched it from the outside. Because when you're out there in Wrigleyville, even if you don't have tickets, come on down there because you might see Nick with Life's a Pitch. Even though we might not be inside the stadium, we'll be watching it on the big screen out there in the marquee.
Sure. And they do have plenty of that stuff going on down at Wrigley Field since they bolstered that area up for, I don't know, like the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, they have. I mean, are you able to get in there and play bags as the game is going on the screen?
You can if you pay a little bit of loot or if you buy a drink, I think. But we were out. We had the cameras and stuff set up. But I do know that I did go down to Wrigleyville this past winter for the Winter Classic when the St. Louis Blues came into town. And we ended up losing that game, sadly. But it was a good time, and, they set up a little ice rink right there. So like you said, they bolstered that area up. It used to be just a McDonald's across the street, right?
Yeah, now if I'm not mistaken, it's a hotel. It might be a parking garage. I don't know what, it is.
Yeah, they got apartments and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a good time, and, even though the score didn't come out, it was the very, very beauty that Life's a Pitch does enjoy about baseball is that the score doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's all about going out there with your family and friends and having a good time. And I know there was a little bit of a scary thing with some violence early at Wrigleyville. There was a shooting, but everything's good over there now. The guy was just shot in the arm, so there's not no one died, so that's good.
It sounds like a typical response. Yeah, there was a shooting, but, he only got shot in the arm, so it's like no big deal. No big deal. But, I mean, okay, silly question. I have to ask because there were some there was a little bit of play at the rate, or I'm sorry, guaranteed rate. I'm not sure if it was like last year or the year before, where someone snuck in a sidearm and ended up shooting themselves. But do you
kind of like Plaxico Burress when he went? Remember when the football player when he shot himself in the leg?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy.
Oh no, that's all right. It is kind of a little entertaining, but gun violence is never entertaining. But
true, that is true.
Do you know if that was a Chicago fan or a Chicago Cubs fan, Chicago White Sox fan?
Oh man, I wish I know that, but it'd be irresponsible of me to ponder my
No, right.
thoughts on that one.
Yeah, and
But I am excited about this. In the 8th inning, Moises Ballesteros, the Cubs number 4 prospect, got his first big league hit.
Oh, awesome. I knew he got his first big league RBI. That was in that atrocious inning for the Chicago White Sox on defense. So he was actually able to secure his first MLB hit as well. That's awesome. See, thank you.
Yeah, because he got 2 RBIs in the game.
Even better, double it up. Now it's your turn to be schooling me, Nick. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So what was the interaction like between the Cubs and the Sox fans, like at the end of the game? Did you stick around to the end of the game to partake in that, to witness any of that?
Yeah, just a little bit. People were fine, but the score was so lopsided that it wasn't like a close, some sort of heartbreaking and crazy over the top thing, right? I think that a lot of the White Sox fans had left a little bit early. The Cubs fans, of course, they were having a good old time. But I can't wait until tomorrow. I'm going to be wearing my Cubs gear, so I'm going to kind of get the back and forth feeling, and of course, I'll get some nice sound bites for the talk of the town in the Fox Valley, right? 1410 WRMN, so.
Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, okay. I am pulling this up right now. So there was a person of interest, going back to what you had said on, let's see, I'm looking at the WGN website right now. Person of interest released after man shot near Murphy's bleachers in Wrigleyville. So that's what happened. That was yesterday.
The bleachers just can't keep out of controversy.
No,
Those
yeah.
bleachers.
Let's see. 26. According to WGN TV, let's see. A 26-year-old was hospitalized after shots rang out Thursday evening near Murphy's Bleachers, the famed Wrigleyville area sports pub near Wrigleyville. According to police, a person of interest was in custody but was released without charges. CPD said the shooting occurred just before 7 p.m. in the 900 block of West Waveland Avenue. The male shooting victim was on the sidewalk when he was shot in the left arm by an unknown offender.
Oh, geez. Yeah, they were talking this day. A bunch of kids were just like the teenagers were getting in fights with one another. And I'm like, man, come on, guys.
Yeah.
That's frustrating.
Kind of like at the end.
Have a nice, beautiful day of baseball, and then have to have something like that happen.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, it was probably better that it happened yesterday night as opposed to today. I mean, considering that there was over 40,000 people in the neighborhood, I'm sure that was well over 50,000, packed in the bars.
Oh, I guarantee that. I mean, it was bumping out there. So that's good.
Yeah. So
hey, I did have an interesting anecdote though for anybody that would want to get a cute little laugh out of Ballesteros' first hit. So, like you said, he did get his first career ribby, right?
Right.
And when he swung for this bat, he literally swung right out of his shoes. Yeah, so his cleats came right off, so they were laughing. Here's a deep throwback for Field of Dreams. Shoeless Joe Jackson. Yeah, I'm going to definitely cite this. This is Shanti Sepe Chapuru. He's a writer for MLB.com. His headline says, Shoeless Mo for Moises. It's pretty funny. So that was a pretty good throwback right there. I had a good chuckle on that one.
Yeah, I love the Chicago sports media. They do, they are very smart and talented, and they do come up with a bunch of puns and pundits, and that's pretty good, considering the fact that Shoeless Joe Jackson, Pete Rose, and all of the formerly banned players are now eligible to get into the Hall of Fame. Whether it's
oh man, that was the tangent right there. That was a connection that only Big Top Sports can pull off right there, my friend. It all falls under the Big Top of the sports, right?
Well, I mean, you're talking about like the circus of sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so, it. And I am the carnival barker or the ringmaster or the sports czar, I'm not exactly sure, or just really the sports idiot, if you will. Or a sports clown. I'll go with the sports clown because. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I gotta laugh at myself, It's just the way that it is. Gotta laugh at myself because it's absolutely hilarious in my mind's eye. Because this is sports. This is entertainment. This should be entertaining. Yeah. If you can't laugh at yourself, what? I'm gonna share something with the listening audience here. This is a secret.
All right.
It shouldn't go any further between you and I, Nick. If you can't laugh at yourself, then what are we doing here?
No, seriously.
I know it's a hot take. I know it's a very controversial take, but I mean,
I thought it was hot yesterday. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, right? 90 some odd degrees yesterday, 90 degrees today. I'm starting to stutter on degrees.
Yeah, you definitely have a thermometer issue going on.
Yeah, well, yeah. It is what it is. But thank you for hopping on today, Nick. I appreciate it. I can't wait to talk to you next week. This has been Nick Stevenson of Life's a Pitch. You need to get that website going, my friend.
Oh, it's cranking up there.
Okay, awesome. So, YouTube, Life's a Pitch. Check Nick out. We'll be back after this. Big Top Sports, AM 1410 WRMN. I am Derek Geyer. We'll be back after these hopeful messages.
In the last 10 years? Is your bank another faceless branch with headquarters in another city? Are you tired of earning next to nothing on your savings account or certificates of deposit? Or does your personal banker treat you like a stranger? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you're ready for a new banking experience, and American Eagle is the place for you. American Eagle is a locally owned independent bank that's rooted in the community, and American Eagle customers are greeted by name and treated with the respect that they deserve. American Eagle has an innovative program, Eagle Savings, that teaches your children to save while earning prizes and rewards. American Eagle offers great rates on certificates of deposit. My bank is located in South Elgin on Randall Road between the Target and Caputo's and is open Monday through Saturday. Give them a call at 847-742-7400 and a real person will answer the phone. American Eagle Bank, a place where you matter.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If your restaurant's grease is causing problems, don't worry. Hopkins Grease Company is here to help. Since 1947, they've been providing reliable grease recycling, grease trap services, and more for restaurants across the Chicago suburbs. With a full fleet and expert staff, they offer quick professional service. And as a family-run business, they pride themselves on delivering personal service you can trust. Call Hopkins Grease today at 847-458-1010. That's 847-458-1010. Hopkins Grease, the Fox Valley Grease Boys.
Are you suffering with anxiety, depression, PTSD, an eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem? If it's causing problems at work or with your family, get help now at Insight Mental Health and Wellness. We can help and treat all types of depression and mental issues. We'll help you use your insurance to get away from it all to a beautiful, sunny, and tranquil vacation-like environment so you can recharge yourself. And with a Family Medical Leave Act, you could take the time off you need from work. Plus, with the Affordable Care Act, your treatment could be 100% covered if you're suffering from any kind of anxiety, depression, PTSD, eating disorder, or even a substance abuse problem. Use your insurance and get away from it all. Come to sunny California. Call Insight Mental Health and Wellness now. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. 800-419-0287. That's 800-419-0287.
welcome back to Big Top Sports. I'm your host, Derek Geyer. You're listening to WRMN 1410 AM, River Media Network Sports. Want to thank Nick Stevenson from Life's a Pitch for hopping on with me that previous segment. Oh, definitely feels like a Big Top atmosphere today. That is for sure. For sure, for whatever. Oh my good graciousness. I'm going to go back to yesterday's show. Why am I going to go back to yesterday's show? Just for the simple fact that me and Marcus Mack of The Truth About Chicago Sports had a little bit of a debate going on, and he called me out. He called me out saying that, give me a person's name for who is in the Hall of Fame that were taking drugs or taking, I believe I said it was methamphetamines. To the best of my knowledge and recollection, that is what I recall. And I tried to do my due diligence with this, and the internet let me down. The internet let me down. While there are no players, or at least from the research, the handy dandy research that I'm doing with my cell phone, people on, or the people that are hopefully watching on youtube.com at WRMN Radio can see me with my phone in my hand. I could not find anyone in the current Hall of Fame that were supposedly doing speed or doing the methamphetamines. Okay, so there's that. So, but the current players, big thumbs here, man. Okay, come on, let's go. So let's see. The list of players or suspected players with strong cases but denied Hall of Fame to the Hall of Fame are as included: Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Alex Rodriguez, Rafael Palmeiro. Also, other notable players affected by steroid allegations. And according to this, they were just allegations, although I do remember somewhere over the course of the last 3 years or so that Mark McGwire, came out and said, yep, I did it. Let me put allegedly did it on that, because I can't say with a certain amount of accuracy here, because the article or what I'm looking up, thanks AI, doesn't actually say that Mark McGwire actually admitted to doing steroids. Then there's Sammy Sosa, Manny Ramirez, Gary Sheffield. But come on, what about Big Papi? What about Manny Ramirez? What about, I did say Manny Ramirez. I could read good too. Anyway, but the reason why these aforementioned players may or may not be getting into the Hall of Fame is because of the character clause that every single player signs. When every player signs their lucrative contract, there is this character clause in it. So the Baseball Hall of Fame's voting rules instruct voters to consider a player's quote-unquote integrity, sportsmanship, character, funny, and contributions to the teams on which the player played. This quote-unquote character clause has been cited by many voters as a reason to exclude players associated with PEDs. And the debate over whether these players deserve to be in the Hall of Fame or to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is why the argument is so contentious. Now, I argue, and Marcus argued that, it ruins the legacy of all of the records. True. It does. 100% does. But yet, it wasn't deemed illegal by Major League Baseball at the time that it was going on. Much like the sticky stuff wasn't deemed illegal until let me backtrack. Until there was a player named Trevor Bauer that came out and basically said, this is how it is, and actually proved it by using whatever it was, shark attack, spider tack. I don't know which tack it was. I'm just going off of my memory, and my memory kind of is spotty as of late. But with that being said, the sticky stuff wasn't banned until a few years or so ago. The PEDs weren't banned until that fiasco of a Congress, or until those players went before Congress all those years ago. And this is the time frame that we're talking about. Sure, MLB has put into place 60-game, 90-game suspensions. I got to look it up, but somewhere in the neighborhood of those, to where players would be getting suspended for those games. I mean, we had a player suspended this season for PEDs. Let me look it up real quick. And I mean, oh, here it is. And one of the bigger players for the Atlanta Braves, Jurickson Profar. He was suspended for 80 games for violating Major League Baseball's joint drug prevention treatment program. He tested positive for chronic. Oh, I'm not even going to be able to pronounce that one. I'm just for chronic gonadotropin, or HCG. He got busted for it on March 31st, 2025. I need to start talking like an alien because I'm getting so excited. And then not only that, I mean, the Atlanta Braves got off to a horrendous start. Once he does come back from his PED suspension, he's not going to be eligible for the playoffs this year. Man, if I was one of his teammates, I'd be ticked off. My goodness. Hey, but whatever. When you're trying to secure the bag, and there's that big bag at the end of the tunnel, I don't know, man. Might be worth a shot in the butt. I mean, I'm not exactly sure about the whole everything else shriveling up, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, when you're talking about $100 million, you're currently listening to Big Top Sports on WRMN 1410 AM. I'm Derek.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 7 o'clock.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan. Brought to you by Wendy's. The Elgin Public Museum is marking Historic Preservation Month with a series of special events on Saturday, May 24th. Highlights include half-hour guided tours of the museum, and at 12:30, Chris Flaherty, founder of Green Gorilla, will give a presentation titled Rooted in Community, Municipal Green Infrastructure. Adopt Animal Shelter in Naperville is gearing up for its 32nd annual Making Strides for Strays 5K and Family Fest Sunday, June 1st at Phillips Park in Aurora. This year's event brings added excitement with activities around Mastodon Lake, including food trucks, music, games, and plenty of fun for the kids. Naperville Park District holding 2 real-world self-defense workshops Thursday, June 5th at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. at the Fort Hill Activity Center. Ray McGrory, a former law enforcement officer and certified Krav Maga instructor, will equip teens and adults with personal safety knowledge and basic self-defense techniques. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Curdan.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
From the pages of the Elgin newspapers of 100 years ago today, these are the headlines brought to you by the Elgin History Museum.
I'm Nick Freeman, and here's what was happening in our fair city 100 years ago. Exhibitions of stunt flying will be given free to the general public by Lieutenant Hart Smith, a member of the USA Flying Corps during the World War, at the Crystal Brook Stock Farm, located 1 mile east of Lord's Park on the Chicago Street Road. 2 airplanes will be operated, one piloted by Lieutenant Smith and the other by Roy Ahern, who, at 19, is the youngest flyer in the United States. Miss Frida Cook will thrill her audiences by walking on the wings of the plane and hanging on the edge by her toes. And in motion picture news, Zowie, the big smash, comes to the Rialto tomorrow. The most notable screen attraction of the year and a syncopated stage prologue, all on one joyous jazz-jammed bargain bill. On the screen, more radiant than ever, in the greatest role of her career, Colleen Moore stars in Sally, a gorgeous screen version of Ziegfeld's musical comedy sensation, with Colleen as the Allie Gammon, who became the dancing sensation of 2 continents. Also, live on our stage, a merry musical prologue featuring Egbert Van Alstine in person.
Elgin 100 years ago is a presentation of the Elgin History Museum. Be sure to visit the museum located at 360 Park Street in Elgin, open Wednesday through Saturdays 11 to 4. You can also listen to Elgin 100 years ago at www.elginhistory.com.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. A wind advisory is in effect for the listening area until midnight tonight. Currently, it is 82 degrees and partly cloudy. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a low around 52. Winds could gust up to 45 miles per hour. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Want to read some action-packed, exciting pulp fiction? Read the works of Michael Tooman, now featuring the international crime thriller, I Married a Bot Madam. Available on Amazon in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle editions. The paperback is also available at other book retailers. Check out Michael Tooman's webpage at Scilink.net. That's Papa Sierra Yankee Lima India November Kilo dot November Echo Tango.
Looking for an affordable dentist close to home? Bender Dental Care in Elgin offers new patient specials from $29, including x-rays, a regular cleaning, and exam. Senior discounts, a no insurance discount plan, and care credit financing. Bender Dental Care is a full-service family dentist with an outstanding 5-star Google rating. To find out more, call us at 847-888-4333. Bender Dental Care, affordable dentistry, close to home.
Ladies and gentlemen, step on inside. It's Big Top Sports, your thrilling ride. From the Chicagoland to lands afar. With Derek Geyer, your sports czar. The game's the place from field to rink. Hot debates, fast takes, no time to blink. The Windy City roar, the fans ignite. Your circus of sports under radio light. Big Time Sports, feel the roar. Where the wild games come to score. Guiding the sports band from the heart of Chicagoland.
That's right. This is Big Top Sports. I am Derek Geyer. You are listening to WRMN 1410 AM. And on the line, but before I get to him, 45 miles an hour wind? Wow, that is insane coming off of the news top of the hour. But to verify that it is actually as windy as the news lady was saying, we've got Mike Napolitano from On the Rise at the Schaumburg Boomers game right now. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Well, we are surviving, that's for sure. Everything kind of blew in very quickly, and it's a little bit hectic over here. I'm looking at my scorecard at the moment. And not only are there rain droplets, but as they kind of evaporate, you get like the dust that was in those rain droplets just kind of sitting in the paper here. So definitely a little bit grimy out here. Did not expect this. Those 45-mile-per-hour winds kind of blowing me over. We just spoke with the folks of friends of mine that do the fireworks, and they're probably not going to get to do their show tonight. They were talking with the fire marshal, and with all of this crazy weather going on, not able to probably do some of the extracurriculars at this game. However, the game itself is still being played. We're currently in the top of the second. It is 3-2 in favor of the Slammers. They have runners on second and third with one out. It was bases loaded a moment ago. Oh, excuse me. That's the third base coach. Runner on second with two outs. No, oh my gosh. 3-2, one out, runner on second. It's hard to kind of see everything here. Every 5 seconds, it feels like I'm pulling sleepers out of my eyes because of all this dust. But
sure.
There's a little bit of panic and chaos with the crowd when everything first kind of picked up. But now things have kind of settled down a little bit.
Now I got to ask this question. When we were out there last week at the Schaumburg Boomers games, the pretzel stand wasn't open yet. The second pretzel stand was not open yet. Is it open now?
It is open now. I'm seeing people get their pretzels on the first base side. Maybe a little extra dust in there with the weather right now, but excited about that. And pretty decent crowd tonight. You know, when we were talking to Tim Calderwood, he was saying how this is kind of going to be like their third of three home openers, because you had that home opener that you and I were at. You had the 11 a.m. Wednesday game for that school day game, and then here's the first Friday night game of the season. So it's packed. There's a T-shirt giveaway, so plenty of excitement around the fans. They're kind of using those T-shirts as umbrellas at this point from the dust and a little bit of the drizzle. But fans are still in the seats. It is a packed house, and it's despite the weather, a great night for baseball. I did get the chance to see our friend and commissioner, Steve Tassler, and he was talking about possibly doing an interview with me later on in the game. He was at Windy City earlier this morning. Now he's here to experience this weather right now. The ace on the mound for the Slammers is a former Boomers player by the name of, give me 1 second, Gunnar Kynes is his name. So he pitched for the Boomers from 2017 to, I believe, about 2019 and won a championship with them, and here he is facing his former team.
Okay, what kind of T-shirts are the Boomers handing out today?
I believe it's an all-black T-shirt that says Feel the Boom. I think it was for the first 1,500 fans. It was a pretty good turnout. So I think
first 1,000.
Oh, first 1,000. Yeah. So I walked right by. I didn't get a chance to snag a T-shirt. We had the press duties to do, of course. But
right.
Everybody was clamoring over those, and the lobby was packed.
Yeah, and those T-shirts were thanks to Blink Tees and iSolved. So there's that. The Boomers are also playing tomorrow at 3. They've got a matinee start for that, and that is presented by Plate for Kids, presented by Westside Children's Therapy. Specialty jerseys will be worn by the Boomers and auctioned off to support that charity. And then again on Sunday at 1 p.m., bring your furry friends to the ballpark for a day that's all about them, presented by Gulf Rose Animal Hospital. Don't forget there's a pregame catch on the field and postgame autographs as well.
Absolutely.
What do you have in store for your listeners, Mike Napolitano of On the Rise, for your show on Saturday morning from 8 to 10?
Well, unfortunately, we don't have you anymore, Derek, but we have changed the cast up a little bit. So you will be missed, but we will have Brandon Combs of The Truth About Chicago Sports. Officially, he is now going to be On the Rise. He'll be joining the co-host rotation, as well as former guest of the show, Dalton Cooper, will be joining us, and we'll be talking all things hockey. We've got the Bears schedule that came out, and then, of course, the Crosstown Classic that I don't even really want to talk about today, but
Yeah, how did that one feel for you, Mr. Napolitano?
It was so much fun when the White Sox were winning 2-0, and it was all downhill after that, which is how I kind of expect the rest of the weekend to go, but we'll discuss a little bit of that. We'll discuss a little bit of Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, as well as I think we have some IIHF World Championships, in addition to all the obvious things, the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs tomorrow we'll be covering.
Yeah. Was there any trading going on between The Truth About Chicago Sports and On the Rise for the services of one Brandon Combs? I got to get the scoop here.
You know, we gave him a half-chewed stick of bubble gum and maybe a half gallon of milk, and he called it a deal. He gave me Brandon Combs. No, I'm kidding. Brandon is super talented, and we're excited to have him join our squad. And it was just a situational thing. With you shifting over to the day shows, we thought, you know what, with Blake Cowell and Sophia already leading the charge on that show, you know, we just kind of wanted to spread out our talent a little bit. And Brandon was more than happy to join On the Rise. He saw what you and I were doing, and he wanted to be a part of that just as much as being on The Truth About Chicago Sports. And the nice thing is that just means he'll be at the studio even earlier, so he and I can even stay late and join Marcus for The Truth About Chicago Sports on Saturdays that we have the time.
Sure. Now, in your perusal of the stadium today, did you notice if the fans were actually taking notice of the new beer garden, and were they like sitting down by the first base side of things along the netting area?
Yes, before this crazy storm rolled in, we got a chance to see everybody kind of sitting in that garden area, mostly on the field level. We had a couple up top, but of course, you know, the Ben Pretzel stand being open over there helped fill those spots over on the first base side as well. So, yeah, they're enjoying it already. I'm assuming this is the first full enjoyment of it, being that, you know, we didn't see a whole lot of people there the night that you and I were there for opening night. They were mostly behind the plate and enjoying the game. And then I'm sure the 11 a.m. start on Wednesday wasn't ideal for a beer garden, but still a lovely area for them to be out in the sun.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure when it is an educational game, quote unquote, there are no adult libations being served. So
probably a little bit more of just a first baseline garden at that point.
Yeah, probably. Anything else you want to add in, Mr. Mike Napolitano?
No. Happy to be a part of the show. Glad to get a chance to call in and keep killing it, Derek. You're doing great.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you hopping on. Enjoy the rest of the game. Make sure you hold on to your hat and shirt and everything else, and make sure you also wear some protective eyewear for that 45-mile-an-hour winds with all the dust going out there.
Yeah. We'll see if I survive. If you don't get a call from me tomorrow, you'll know. If I'm not on the show tomorrow, you'll know.
Okay, I will be tuning in. That has been Mike Napolitano from On the Rise. He will be joined with Brandon Combs. Dalton Cooper?
Yep.
Dalton Cooper. Well, I didn't want to mess that up. Okay, let me give that a shot again. It's Mike Napolitano from On the Rise. He'll be joined with Brandon Combs and Dalton Cooper tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Thanks for hopping on, Mike. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, Derek. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
A loved one owns a gun, and for a while now, you've been concerned about their behavior. They're just not acting like themselves. They've been distant. They've been unpredictable. They've been lashing out. They've been saying things that make you worried they might harm themselves or friends or family. Or you're worried this loved one might hurt you. Maybe they recently threatened someone with their gun. You know something needs to be done, and you wish more than anything you could hit pause on this situation. Well, here in Illinois, you can, with a firearm restraining order. In extreme cases, this order temporarily prevents a person in crisis from having a firearm, giving them time to heal before they do something dangerous or even deadly. If you are worried about a loved one in crisis who has access to a firearm, learn more about firearm restraining orders at illinois.gov/pause to heal. A public service announcement brought to you by the Illinois Department of Public Health, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Fitting in shouldn't be hard, whether in life, on the court, or in the classroom. At Elgin Community College, you could find your place alongside those expanding their horizons, exploring rewarding careers, and achieving their dreams. A place for doers, thinkers, and believers. At ECC, we see you, we believe in you, and you'll fit right in. Learn more at elgin.edu/belong.
The Moose Lodge 799 in Elgin is a place to connect with family, friends, and your community. Moose Lodge 799 is conveniently located at 925 South McLean Boulevard, and they offer fun family activities, exciting community service projects, and live entertainment on the weekends. Moose Lodge 799 opens at 2 p.m. Tuesday through Friday and 11 a.m. on weekends. For more information about becoming a member, call 847-741-0799. Moose Lodge 799, where you're more than a member, you're family.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
And you are currently listening to Big Top Sports on WRMN 1410 AM. If you're not currently listening on or watching on youtube.com/@WRMN Radio, why not? You get to see my pretty face. And if you're not watching on WRMN YouTube and you're listening and you want to call in, I could go ahead and hash it out with you for a bit. 847-931-1410. Or if you want to text in, text the text-in line at 505-926-1410. Want to thank Mr. Mike Napolitano for hopping on at Wintrust Field in the Chicago. It's the Schaumburg Boomers, you dipstick. My goodness. That's right. It is the Schaumburg Boomers. So, as if you are watching up on the YouTube feed, you can see the current schedule for the Boomers. They are currently playing the Joliet Slammers. They started today at 6:30. As I mentioned, they will continue to play the Slammers tomorrow at 3. Again, against the Slammers at 1 p.m. Then they hit the road for 3 games against the Evansville Otters in Evansville, Indiana. And they will be home next weekend again for what looks like a 6-game homestand against the Gateway Grizzlies. That is starting on Friday, going all the way to Sunday, and then against the Evansville Otters on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So there is that. Boomers are doing pretty well. Let's move over to the association. The association! And the Kane County Cougars. Kane County Cougars are taking on the Milwaukee Milkmen. They started their game at 6:30 this evening. That's right. They are in full swing as well. Where are we? All right. Here we go. And as you can see, the Kane County Cougars aren't necessarily doing that well. They've dropped a few games. Well, currently they are winning against the Milwaukee Milkmen 3-2. Let's see. We'll just do the whole in progress thing. There you go. Kane County Cougars leading in the bottom or the top of the 4th, 3-2, putting up 6 hits, 3 runs on 6 hits. And yeah. So let's see what the Kane County Cougars have lined up for you. Trying to do this. It's like trying to talk, which I barely do to begin with, and chew gum at the same time and juggle because I feel like I need to juggle. Yeah. Because this is what I do. This is what I try to do. But if you are a Kane County Cougars fan, there is a post-game fireworks tonight sponsored by Santa's Village. Free general admission, ticket giveaway, for kids under 12. That is tonight. Tomorrow, they also have, gates open at 5. First pitch is at 6:30. It is again against the Milkmen. Another post-game fireworks. And entertainment by Tyler's Amazing Balancing Act. Maybe I should have them come and work the commercial break during my show for Big Top Sports. That sounds like fun. And then again, on Sunday, it is gates open at 12. First pitch is at 1. And it is Stroke Awareness Day, sponsored by Northwestern Medicine. All these games are being played at Northwestern Medicine Field. Let's see. I'm going to view the event. Historical. I thought maybe there would be like a post-game run or something, but apparently not. That is all right. Ooh, doggy. So let's see. We took care of the American Association. We took care of the Frontier League. Now what else are we going to take care of? Man, yeah, I kind of feel like there's a free-for-all coming. I feel like there is a free-for-all. I also feel like there is a rant just below the surface. Ooh, you see that I am wearing the Parlay shirt. Nice, black and white, the Parlay. That is Mr. Tony Lopez's show, along with Kendall Gill, 15-year NBA veteran. And they have a boxing podcast. I am so interested to think or to hear their takes on what is going on with another Jake Paul circus. Yeah, that's right. I said circus. Why did I say circus? Hot take incoming. And I know he doesn't give two smurfs about me. That being Jake Paul, because I'm not even a pimple on the fly's booty, on the elephant's booty. I'm not even, I'm nowhere near that radar of Jake Paul. But I do have a mic. And can we get some real fights out of you, man? I know you're an internet god. Can you feel the sarcasm? I mean, I have no idea how. I mean, all the teeny boppers and everything with all the stuff that you and your bro did, back in the day to give you all this internet fame and everything. Not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous of that, because back in the day, I was thinking about doing that. I was not thinking about doing the stupid Smurf stuff that you guys were doing on your stuff. But, that's neither here nor there. I mean, it's given you your platform, it's given you your millions, and it's given you your DAZN and all of that stuff, which you can go ahead and parlay into making even more millions and everything off of that fiasco of what was a Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. 58 years old, dude. How old are you? How old is Jake Paul? I'll figure that out, and I'll come back, from the break with that. But I mean, dude, come on. Fighting what was formerly the baddest man on the planet, and you're happy with the unanimous decision when you should have knocked him out. But then again, you would have gotten criticized for that, too. I have absolutely no idea. Mike Tyson, 58 years old. Jake Paul, 28 years old. I mean, wow. You need to change up that picture that you have, or they need to change it up or whatever. Getty Images needs to change it up after that. I mean, my goodness. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because Jake Paul is going to be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in an upcoming fight. Can we just get real fights? Why can't we get real fights? I don't understand this. Because you don't want to be in a real fight with anyone else. Plain and simple. Yeah, sure, you could take a shot from Mike Tyson that rocks your jaw. From a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. 58-year-old Mike Tyson that rocks your jaw. Anyway, whatever. You're listening to Big Top Sports on WRMN 1410 AM. I'm Derek Geyer.
With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Wendy's. Naperville Park District holding 2 real-world self-defense workshops Thursday, June 5th at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. at the Fort Hill Activity Center. Ray McGrory, a former law enforcement officer and certified Krav Maga instructor, will equip teens and adults with personal safety knowledge and basic self-defense techniques. The Elgin Public Museum is marking Historic Preservation Month with a series of special events on Saturday, May 24th. Highlights include half-hour guided tours of the museum, and at 12:30, Chris Flaherty, founder of Green Gorilla, will give a presentation titled Rooted in Community, Municipal Green Infrastructure. Adopt Animal Shelter in Naperville is gearing up for its 32nd annual Making Strides for Strays 5K and Family Fest Sunday, June 1st at Phillips Park in Aurora. This year's event brings added excitement with activities around Mastodon Lake, including food trucks, music, games, and plenty of fun for the kids. With your 1410 WRMN Newsflash, I'm Sean Kernan.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Offer valid through 5/19/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store single line activation on qualifying plan. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
For nearly 50 years, the DuPage Senior Citizens Council and Kane Senior Council have been dedicated to serving seniors in DuPage and Kane counties. Established in 1975, the DuPage Senior Citizens Council is a volunteer-driven 501c3 non-for-profit organization committed to helping older adults live with dignity. From providing nutritious meals to offering support services, the Kane Senior Council is there every step of the way. With programs designed to enhance independence and quality of life, they're proud to make a difference in the lives of their senior neighbors. To learn more or to volunteer, visit them at 418B Airport Road in Elgin or head to their website at caneseniorcouncil.org. Give them a call at 630-338-0999. That's 630-338-0999. That's the Kane Senior Council, caring for seniors because they deserve to live with dignity and respect. Visit caneseniorcouncil.org or call 630-338-0999 today.
This is Will Walker with your Fox Valley forecast. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 9 p.m. Mostly cloudy with a low around 52. Gusty winds up to 45 miles per hour. Looking ahead to Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 68. Currently, it is 76 and partly cloudy. With your Fox Valley forecast, I'm Will Walker on WRMN, the talk of the town.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Ladies and gentlemen, step on inside. It's Big Top Sports, your thrilling ride. Big Top Sports, feel the roar. Where the wild games come to score. Guiding the sports band from the heart of Chicagoland. Football frenzy and hoops so high. Baseball swinging as seasons fly. Hockey blades cutting swift and true. Sports carousel spinning just for you.
Okay, welcome back to Big Top Sports, WRMN 1410 AM. I am Derek Geyer, and let's pay off this Jake Paul fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. on June 28th, 2025 at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Yep, supposed to go 10 rounds. Supposed to be happening June 28th, 2025. I got nothing. I mean, yeah. Must be quite the bag. Oh, and of course, supposedly. No, it's supposedly, not supposedly. I hate it. That is like one of my pet peeves when I hear people say, well, supposedly it's going to be in the weight class of the cruiserweight. No, it's supposedly. Yes. So see right here, cruiserweight, 10 rounds, streamed on the DAZN pay-per-view. My mom always said to sound it out, and it doesn't sound like DAZN. It sounds like DAZN. Probably like one of those Canadian hockey player names. But yeah, I mean, good on Jake Paul for being able to build this media empire. And I think, let's see. I am going to watch him and his brother's show on, I think it's Max, just so I can see. Oh, it's called. Well, of course it is. It's called what? It's called Paul American. Paul American. Why is it called Paul American? Because these two guys, and it's not just Jake Paul, it's the other Paul, Logan Paul, that have their own show on Max. I think later on, as we get like a little bit more traction, I'm going to add a sports entertainment aspect of this. Don't you like this on-air production meeting that we're having right now between myself and all of you out there? Let me know what you think. Text 505-926-1410 or call in the studio line 847-931-1410. Give me your opinions or chime in on youtube.com/@WRMN Radio. Please, 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 please. I want to get your takes on this because I feel if there was ever an opportunity, well, I mean, there's always an opportunity to bash the Pauls and to potentially bash the listeners and watchers. Oh, I mean, they might be coming for me if I start doing that. Thanks for listening, Brendan. I appreciate it. Yes, tune into the morning show that you are a fan of. Susie Q and Elliot have been doing a fantastic job this week. Of course, we can't forget about Mac McNeil. Mac. I called you Mac, Matt. Can't forget about Mac. Oh, did I just do that again? I cannot forget about Matt with a T, not an M-A-C-K. Matt McNeil out to lunch 10 to 1 when he's not getting truncated by the Chicago White Sox. Also heard here on WRMN 1410 AM. Talk time with Tammy, 2 to 4, when she's not being truncated by the Chicago White Sox. A political talk show with Sonar when he's not getting truncated by the Chicago White Sox. And of course, bringing up the rear, because I can kind of be a horse's rear. And it kind of fits with Big Top Sports from 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, when the Chicago White Sox aren't playing. And I'm not getting truncated by them. That is our lineup. Oh, and I think the reason why I was, yes, Brendan, the Cubs did win today. And I think the reason why I was having a hard time saying Matt, because I might have been thinking of Mac, of the Marcus Mac that is on Saturdays, Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to noon, when he's not getting truncated by the Chicago White Sox either. And let's not forget the show that I was previously on, that we had the guest on last half hour ago, Mike Napolitano of On the Rise with Brandon Combs. And Mr. Dalton. And I'd be remiss if I didn't, also say Blake Cowell and Sophia Blackburn, that is on Marcus Mack's show, The Truth About Chicago Sports. But going back, before I went off on that WRMN tangent, 1410 AM, Big Top Sports, Derek Geyer, I'm talking about bringing in a new segment that's going to critique potential sports shows and sports people that are on these sports shows. I am going to hate watch this. Absolutely hate watch this. And I mean, don't they, my goodness, don't these two have punchable faces? Logan Paul, Jake Paul? I mean, Jake Paul, claims that he's a boxer and everything, so there's that. But I mean, and the fact that, However, I will give it to them that they have done an extremely good job of taking their media mogul empire to the next level. If they offered me $30 million, or if Jake Paul offered me $30 million and a year to get in shape, I'd do it. No one else would want to watch the fights. I mean, I am nowhere, I'm not even claiming to be like on the wrist tape or the hand tape that Mike Tyson uses. Nowhere near that. He could box blindfolded, one arm tied behind his back, and he would still kick the Smurf out of me. I'm pretty sure no, I'm not actually sure that Jake Paul could do that, because I don't think he's actually fought anyone. And then there's Logan Paul. WWE Logan Paul, who also got famous, with his brother on the sporting, side of things. Or I'm sorry, the YouTuber side of things. Oof, I say. But hey, good for them. And I'm pretty sure they actually relish being hated. Because like I said, I am not even a pimple on the fly's booty that is on the giraffe's booty that is in this picture right now. I digress. You are currently listening to that is my other show, On the Rise, that I am no longer on. That's Mike Napolitano Show. Oh, definitely in the Big Top today. Definitely in the Big Top. You're listening to Big Top Sports on WRMN 1410 AM. I'm going to be talking about some women's basketball when we come back. We've got some WNBA action to talk about. Next.
Do you own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,000 annuities and summarized rates and benefits from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and the Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited. Call now.
800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. 800-760-1845. That's 800-760-1845.
Finding a reputable business shouldn't require luck or chance. But how can you tell who you can trust? Pro tip: the BBB connects people with businesses they can trust. So think of the BBB as the better, check with the BBB first, because better businesses are honest and commit to high ethical standards bureau. That's why they're better. Always look for the sign of a better business and find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Looking to set sail on your dream vacation? Cruises International has you covered. Specializing in land and sea getaways, they're here to make your vacation unforgettable. Located at 1721 Moon Lake Boulevard in Hoffman Estates, they offer personalized service with a global network of specialists to ensure your trip is tailor-made just for you. Call today at 800-255-7447 to speak with a cruise and vacation expert. And don't miss Travel Tuesdays on WRMN AM 1410 every first Tuesday of the month from 11 to 12 p.m. on Out to Lunch. That's Cruises International. Your vacation, your way.
The Moose Lodge 799 in Elgin is a place to connect with family, friends, and your community. Moose Lodge 799 is conveniently located at 925 South McLean Boulevard, and they offer fun family activities, exciting community service projects, and live entertainment on the weekends. At Moose Lodge 799, you'll find a place to relax, make new friends, and be part of something bigger, like supporting the kids of Moose Heart. Doors at Moose Lodge 799 open at 2 p.m. Tuesday through Friday and at 11 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. Join a welcoming group of members who share a passion for good times and giving back. Call 847-741-0799. That's 847-741-0799 for more information, or stop by and see what they are all about. Moose Lodge 799 in Elgin, where family, friends, and community are always invited to join.
As we wind down this week on Big Top Sports, I'm your host, Derek Geyer. Only another 10 minutes or so left in this week for myself and for you. Well, for you, I mean basically listening to me talk and listening to this circus. Ooh, man. Tough go. But hey, Big Top Sports, WRMN 1410 AM, River Media Network, Sports. And as I had mentioned before I went to break, it is going to be the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, 2 p.m., right up there. So we've got Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, Camila Cardoso, Courtney Vandersloot, Maddie Westbeld, Ariel Adkins. And you could basically, go on and look at the Chicago Sky's website. But the reason why I bring this up is because it was definitely a story last year. It was a story this year at the NBA draft when the Chicago Skies picked Haley Van Lith at number 11 in the draft right here. This is Haley Van Lith. As you could see it on the youtube.com at WRMN radio website. When she was picked, there also seemed to be a little bit of animosity towards one Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark, probably one of the most recognized people in the WNBA. One of the reasons why so many games have been moved from WNBA stadiums when Caitlin Clark is coming to town. It is absolutely no wonder why people are clamoring to see her. She's one of the best players in the WNBA, Rookie of the Year. Indiana Fever, number 22. And yeah, so the Sky are going to the Fever. They've already moved all. You might ask why I am, bringing this up and talking about this. Well, the reason why I am doing so is because there are so many teams that when the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play, and the Fever are the away team, the team that they're playing against has already moved that particular game to a bigger capacity stadium. Think about it. When the Fever come to town against the Sky, they have moved their games from, I believe it's Wintrust, to the United Center. Wintrust seats about 10,000, 8,000, 9,000, somewhere around there. But the United Center sits around 22,000. Let's see. Even if it's $10 a ticket and there's a 10,000 seat capacity, that's a lot of money. And those lower bowl seats at the United Center are not going to be, here. You know that those lower bowl seats are not going to be $10. I'm just doing an experiment here as we are live on the air. Okay. You see this? You see this? I am currently on, you the listeners that are currently not on YouTube or whatever, you cannot see it. But I have the Ticketmaster website pulled up. And it currently says that there are no tickets available for when the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark come to the United Center on June 7th, 2025 for the 7 p.m. tip. Absolutely nothing available. I'm going to click the more info. Yeah, nothing's available. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. 22,000 seats at the United Center, sold out. The Chicago Sky moving from their original venue to accommodate the Indiana Fever to make more money. Huh? A professional entity wanting to make more money? And then you have... I am not going to go off on this tangent. I will save this for next time because I would like to have someone else's perspective on this, if you will. So this is going to be a long tease. But then you have Angel Reese, sorry, not sorry, saying that she's a bigger star, if not as big, as of Caitlin Clark's ilk. I said ilk, ILK. To where she should garner some of this spotlight as well. Miss a shot, get your rebound, 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 and get your stats. This might be a hot take, I don't know. But I'm going to save this for later because we are going to have someone that can pull the reins back, if you will, on me in regards to talking this smurf about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and the bad blood and the animosity amongst everyone that seems like in the WNBA that is not on Caitlin Clark's team. Because I am so fascinated by the fact that you want to take your golden goose and put her on the sideline by doing dirty shenanigans towards her. That is my time with y'all for this Friday night and for this week. Thank you for listening to Big Top Sports. Thank you for Nick Stevenson for calling in for Life's a Pitch. Thank you for Mike Napolitano from On the Rise for calling in. Thank you for Marcus Mack joining me yesterday from The Truth About Chicago Sports. And don't forget to tune in to The Truth About Chicago Sports. Let me check myself. Don't forget to tune in to On the Rise, 8 to 10. Don't forget to tune in to The Truth About Chicago Sports, 8 to 10. Let's yuck it up one more time and let's get after these clowns. Once again, this is WRMN 1410 AM. You're listening to Big Top Sports, and I am Derek Geyer.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 8 o'clock.